Alrighty, so we're going over reflections and we're going to be completing our notes. Our description and rule for reflection. The figure is flipped over a line. So just like when you see a mirror and between you and that mirror there is a line, your image is flipped over it, meaning the same side isn't the same side. So think about reflections as a mirror. Whenever you look in it, you see the same thing, just on the opposite side of you. So if you're doing the reflection over the x-axis, our coordinates only change by our y being the negative. So the sign changes, only change sign. And when we only change the sign, it's only of the opposite coordinate. So if it's over the x-axis, we're going to only change our y sign. Then our reflection over the y-axis. If it's the y-axis, you're only changing the sign, and of the opposite of the axis you're flipping. So since I'm flipping over the y, my x is going to be opposite, meaning it's going to be a negative. Okay. So when we flip the figure over a line, we're reflecting. So our example is if we're going to flip this image ABC over the x-axis. So this is my x, this is my y. If we're flipping it over the x, we're flipping it over this one. And we're going to just change the signs. So my new A will be at point 2 and -3. So since it's x-axis, change sign of y. So B would be 3 and -1. C, my x stays the same, which is 1 and -2. I don't change the value of my numbers, only change the sign. So B, if it's at 2, or A, if it's at 2, -3, then I'm at 1, 2 on my x, and then down 1, 2, 3. So this will be my A primed. My B is at 3, so 1, 2, 3, and down 1. So that is B primed. And then my C is at 1, -2, 1, 2. And there we go. It's our new image. It's reflected across, so it's kind of facing the opposite. The C is 2 away from the x-axis, so my new C is 2 away from my x-axis. My B is 1 away, so my new B is 1 away. But it's staying on the same initial line. Pretty simple. If you need any help, just let me know. Alrighty, the reflections. Example number 2. This says reflect the rectangle over the y-axis. So my y-axis. If we're flipping it over the y, we will have our x and y go to -x, and then our y will stay the same because we flip the sign of the opposite axis we're flipping over. So my m would go from a -5 to a +5. So we're just changing the sign of my x. And my 3 will stay a -3. So my y stays a -3. A primed, we only change the sign of our x, which is a -2. So we're going to change it to a +2. And then our y stays the same. Our T primed, we change the sign of our x, which is a -2, and a negative would be a +2. Okay? Then our y will stay the same because we're flipping it over the y-axis, so we're not changing the height of it. And then finally H primed, our -5, once again, we're flipping it to a 5 because we're changing the sign, and our y stays at -5. So when we flip it over, we're going to count. Our m is at +5, so this is my x, this is my y, So I have my positive 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and negative 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's my new m reflected across. Then I'm going to do A, which is at 2, so 1, 2, and then down negative 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is my A primed. Doing the same thing with T, which is at 2, negative 5, so negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. T primed. And then my H will be at net 5, positive 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's the same image reflected across. Make sure you note my M is on the opposite side. My A should be closest to my A. My T will be closest to T, and my H will be the furthest away. Okay? It should not be M-A-H-T. They're reflected. So however far away it is, it should be that far away on the other side. So that's my new image. Okay? So, whenever we're looking at our properties of these images that are reflected, our pre-image and our image, they're always going to be our favorite word that means the same, congruent. And for those of you who don't remember, it is the same. And so just like whenever we did our translations, if the pre-image and the image are congruent, the corresponding angles are congruent. And if everything's the same, then that means the corresponding sides must be congruent as well. Alrighty, I want you to try doing practice 1 and practice 2 on your own. And then I will come and I will help you. When you're done, I will come and I will check them.